Now we're going to ChatGPT. So like all the tweet threads were about this, and then they're about this, and now they're about ChatGPT, AI. How are you going to do this in the future? What jobs is it going to replace? Give me examples. And it talks about like, why do I need to hire an attorney anymore when I get pulled over, which we talked about on another episode. People really enjoyed that one. They said, don't put the dome lights on. That's bad. But anyway.
Why?
I don't know. Someone disagreed with you.
It was probably a bot.
Yeah.
See, now ChatGPT can also become
he looks like a real person. They can make it look like.
I hope he's a real person.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Because that means we have real people listening to us.
Welcome to Saviors of the Metaverse, the podcast that saves and definitely entertains. You're listening to the show on a related yet unrelated podcast. To get all the episodes of Saviors and to become a Saviors superfan, search for Saviors of the Metaverse on your podcast player of choice. Once there, I don't know, subscribe. And while you're at it, give it a rating because, well, Jared needs confirmation. Jared needs affirmation. Jared needs Savior Nation. And if nothing else, thank you for listening to Saviors of the Metaverse. We'll see you in there. So here we are.
Hey man,
Cheers.
happy 2023.
Simultaneous sip.
That was good.
Spit it all out.
I do have to say that my coffee is not as good as yours.
Why? How would you know what my coffee tasted
Because
like?
I taste everybody's coffee that I make before I give it to them. It's called quality control, QC.
Did you do that like out of the cup?
Rephrase the question.
You poured the coffee in the cup and then tasted it? Or did you taste it before? Like you took a spoon?
No. This is an espresso. Actually, what you have is a latte.
Set the table for the audience.
Oh, yeah. I made Eric some coffee.
And brought it to me.
Anything
like
else?
Not just here. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's really not coffee. It's a latte,
Is that different?
I guess.
It is.
We've got this fancy espresso machine at home. I got this for my wife for her birthday last year. We love it. I definitely drink way too much espresso.
Okay.
If it's not already evident by my demeanor on the podcast,
Yeah.
I sound like I drink too much espresso.
Okay.
I mean, I'm like flipping out inside right now.
Okay.
No, not really. I can go to sleep after drinking coffee. Enough about me.
How
This is
much
about you.
coffee do you drink a day?
I mean, I have 2 cups of coffee in the morning. And then I probably have like,
Ooh.
I always do a double shot.
Okay.
Probably have 2 to 3 of those a day.
Double shots.
Yeah.
Okay. When's your last sip of coffee?
I could really use an intervention. So if
Yeah.
anybody wants to intervene.
Yeah. You stopped drinking alcohol though. So that's.
This is true. I have not had a drop of alcohol since October the 4th.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay. Back to coffee. We can go back to alcohol.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So what time is your last sip?
Like 3 seconds ago. When we had a simultaneous sip.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
In the day, asshole.
Oh, what time
Yeah.
is my last sip in the day?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't
3 o'clock?
like this stuff. No, man. It's probably, yeah. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, it's probably
Okay.
3. Yeah, probably.
Okay.
I don't know.
I'm just wondering.
All right, so we're going back to, I made you coffee. Coffee.
Yeah.
I actually tried to walk out of the house without, like, it was just going to be 2 shots of espresso, some almond milk, maybe a little bit of creamer, froth it up, cold.
Yeah.
And then my wife said, hey, you need to clean the frother. And I said, I'm not frothing anything for Eric. I'm already running late.
Yeah.
She said, you were absolutely going to froth that coffee.
Huh.
And I complied.
Yeah.
So we frothed the coffee.
And then you showed up in a bad mood.
No, I should have been in a great mood.
Okay. I wasn't sure.
Yeah, no. I'm not sure either. Maybe I was. Maybe I wasn't.
Yeah.
To be determined. We'll see how this podcast goes.
Yeah.
So there it is, man. This is a great way to kick off 2023.
Yeah.
Coffee with friends and Saviors of the Metaverse.
All at the same time.
All at the same time.
And not a drip of alcohol.
Yeah.
But you're sleeping better?
Yeah.
Just depends.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I mean, when I first quit, it was easy because I read that book, How to Quit Drinking Without Using Willpower by Alan Carr. It's a good book.
Okay.
So it's really about rewriting the story of your relationship to alcohol.
Yeah.
Because essentially, I just had a 10-year-long bad habit, really. It was just one of those things that after kids, because I wasn't able to ride my bike as much, so racing and training, you don't have time for that when you got kids. And so it was just easier to unwind at the end of the day with beer.
Yeah.
Since I wasn't able to go out and ride on the bike.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're coping another way, almost.
Yeah.
Not coping with like
It's just a bad
just,
habit.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, I'm running hot all day. So it's like this, up all day, and then I got to bring myself down. Up, down.
Okay. So what did that look like?
What do you mean? Like, what?
Like how many beers a night do you think you're having?
I probably averaged 3 to 5 a night.
Wow. Every night. Most nights.
Most nights.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And I would say, it's low calorie beer, but still 4%.
That's blood alcohol, like 4%.
No, like
Michelob Ultra is low calorie.
Gross.
I know, but I'm saying, like you said, 4%. That's the
No. It's like
ABV,
4%. Yeah. 4% ABV, I guess.
What kind of beer? All different kinds.
The one that I would drink the most is probably Sweetwater.
Okay.
Sweetwater's
Atlanta, right?
I don't know. I can't remember. I think so. Either that or there's somewhere in Georgia.
Yeah.
You're trying to get me to reminisce about a habit that I quit. I mean, what is wrong with you? You're trying to get me to start again? Definitely, there has been some days where, like, you know what? It would be really nice.
Saviors. Someone's listening to this and be like, man, if Jared can do it, I can do it.
That's right.
That's pretty cool. Think about that.
Now, the Jared in the metaverse, he's drunk right now. He's wasted.
Yeah.
No way. Is that the multiverse? Got to start another podcast on that one.
That's a multiverse.
That's a multiverse.
Like a parallel universe?
Probably. Yeah, that's a multiverse.
Okay, because there's multiple verses.
Because there's multiple verses.
Okay.
Multiple verses.
There is a Jared out there that didn't go with that decision.
Yeah, and there's a Jared. Oh, yeah. That's a long conversation. The multiverse.
Oh, that's confusing.
It can be.
Yeah.
And I don't know that we want to just come in hot like that.
No.
We want to ease our way in with idiocy.
We'll go back. Well, I was listening to Andrew Huberman, his podcast, Science, Stanford professor.
Oh, yeah, he's great.
Yeah, he's great. He had a whole episode about alcohol and like, because he'll get into the science of like, what does it actually do? And you listen, you're like, I can't drink that anymore, ever.
Yeah.
Because it's poison.
I will say, I mean, I do feel a lot better. I sleep better. Yeah, it was one of those things where, you know, I knew that I should have quit a long time ago.
Yeah.
You know, you buy into this. So what's really interesting about that book, it's really a lot of cognitive behavioral therapy and some neurolinguistic programming, right?
Yeah.
So what you're doing is there's a lot of repetition and you're really rewiring and taking things back to when your relationship with alcohol started, how you're framing it.
Yeah.
And then he kind of drives this whole point home is that number one is you never actually liked it to begin with, because he brings up a really good point. So think back to the very first time you had a sip of alcohol. What was your response?
No one likes it.
Nobody likes it.
It's awful.
And then what do people tell you?
It's an acquired taste.
Exactly. You'll get used to it.
Yeah.
And so it's, oh, okay. So you'll do it again. Ugh, gross. Don't like that. Oh, you'll get used to it. So you start to realize, I never actually really wanted this to begin with. He also said this thing over and over again. He said, drinkers drink to feel like non-drinkers. So why not just be a non-drinker?
Yeah.
To feel more socially comfortable, everything else. I was like, yeah, that makes sense. And then, as he winds it out towards the end, he essentially starts to talk about, and again, this is not knocking other ways of recovery, right?
For sure not.
But is saying that a lot of the fear of giving up something like alcohol is you think about how much willpower it's going to take because you bought into the idea you're depriving yourself of something that's number one, good for you. And number two, something that you actually want. But if you go back to the beginning of where he started you at, he said, you never actually wanted this. So you're really not giving up something that you want. You're not depriving yourself of anything.
Yeah.
So the willpower idea, and the way he's framing it, it's a belief that you have.
Yeah.
That, oh man, I'm missing out. Now, all that to say, for the first couple of months, easy. But there's definitely been times, and again, it's just kind of that maybe I feel, too wound up from coffee. I'm like, I'd love to take the edge off.
Yeah.
Right?
Would you be the person that if you had a sip of alcohol that would be like, oh man, I miss this?
I mean, I don't know. I think that's a contextual thing.
Sure.
Because, if I were to have another sip of alcohol or have another drink, and there might be a day when I do, I don't know. But I mean, I think about it right now. If I were to have another drink, I'd have to ask myself, why did I have another drink? Well, it's probably to relieve stress. Now I've started to create the story again that, hey, look, this isn't bad for me. It's just relieving some stress. Because I had quit before. In fact, I was sitting right here. I think we podcasted about it like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
I quit for 3 months.
Yeah.
And then slowly went back to it and was like, oh man, great. I've got a better relationship with it. No.
That's the story you told yourself at the beginning. Yeah.
And then it eventually got back to where it was before.
Yeah. It was the de-stress because a lot of times you talk about books, power of habit, right? It's like you go to the bar to watch the game with a friend.
Yeah.
And it's an association and it triggers you to say, and the waiter comes over and you say, I would like whatever, a beer.
Right.
And that becomes the habit loop, right? That you've got yourself into. It's just like a setting. And yours is that too. It's just in a different way. It's at
Mine
the house.
was sad and lonely at home.
Yeah. Well, you talk about social settings. I mean, that's probably one of the main reasons people, because if you think about high school and college, you go to a party, you go to an event, whatever.
Of course.
And people start drinking.
Yeah. It's normal. It's normalized.
Normalized. Yeah.
I'll tell you what is nice is I've been in several social settings where there's alcohol and have not been tempted to have any of it.
Yeah.
In fact, it's really nice because I'm able to function at a much higher level, obviously. But, that's part of the story that you tell yourself is, I need the alcohol so that I can be, you kind of make yourself believe I'm more interesting, I'm funnier. Like, you don't really go through that process in your head. But obviously you believe that.
Sure.
If you're going to go ahead and have several beers and you're hanging out in that setting, and 2 leads to 5 leads to you on the street with a sign, asking for change.
Yeah. It could. Bad decisions. Yeah.
Yeah. We've addressed that before.
Do people, man, I ask this question a lot. And sometimes it's like when someone goes through a traumatic event, right? Like, did you need to go through that to get to where you are today, right? And it's always something to think about. Kids are going to high school and college. They're going to be exposed to it.
Right.
Is it useful for them, right, to experience what that's like, or is it not? Can they just stay away from it? I don't know. Everyone's different, right?
It's a weird question. Is it useful? I don't know, man. I mean, we did it, obviously, but I don't look back at those days in college and go, you know what? I'm really glad.
Yeah.
That was really good for me. Yeah. In fact, that's one of the things he talks about in this
fun,
book.
maybe.
But did you? I mean, we were fun in the moment. I mean, when you're soused, with your buddies, of course, that's fun. The next day is what sucks.
Yeah.
And that's what I was going to say. In some of these settings that I've been in recently, I love being able to wake up super early, feeling full of energy. In all sincerity, one of the things that's hard for me to deal with right now, because it's been October, November, December, I'm really looking at like 3-4 months. Mm-hmm. One of the things that's been difficult to adjust to is how much more energy I have. I'm thinking, okay, I need outlets for this. So that, being amped up.
Podcasting. Yeah.
So I take the edge off with podcasting.
Yeah.
I went from alcohol to podcasting.
Yeah. It's good. Good turnaround.
But that has been one of the things that's been a little harder to adjust to. So there's an adjustment period. And I don't know if it was on Andrew Huberman or it was somebody else that was talking about this. But when you quit drinking, see, alcohol, and I'm going to get this wrong, I'm sure. But the gist of it is that over time, it kills off neurotransmitters and pathways, and your brain adapts to something that it gets used to. When you take that out of there, you still have those pathways, but nothing's going through them anymore. So there's a dying off period where your brain has to go through a restructuring, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like, okay, we need to build new pathways. We need to build new ways of functioning. Because it's so used to this one thing that was happening on a regular basis. That might have been him talking about that.
Yeah.
I've thought about that a lot too. So I have a lot more energy.
It's harder though for kids because they want to be social, right? They want to go to these events. You want to go to a party. You want to go to a bar to choose club soda, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Kids and middle-aged men like us, man, that's a different game, right? Like when you think about the loneliness epidemic, which I know we've talked about a few times, but
you lonely? You good?
Totally.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's why you're here.
I tell you what, man, COVID fucked everything up.
Yeah.
For a lot of people.
Man.
Like that's a legit thing.
That's still going on.
Totally. And it's not even like, oh, COVID, so we need to isolate, but that just the mass isolation, the polarization, like the narrative wars were so high. There's irreparable damage on a social level. I don't know. I think it's damage that, at least in our lifetime, won't, I don't think, fully be repaired. I'm not trying to be dramatic. I'm just saying that people are still entrenched in beliefs that have been proven incorrect. And it's just like, well, we're not going to pay attention to any of that information. We're going to keep believing what we believed from the beginning. That goes on both sides.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a problem. It's like we normalized isolation.
Yeah.
This podcast is supposed to be entertaining, man. This is getting dark.
This is real dark. It's good though.
My bad.
You gotta save a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we start people off dark.
Yeah.
And then we're going to boost them up
dark
towards
coffee.
the end.
Just coffee's got a little something. This is espresso. That's what I'm dealing with.
That's diarrhea water.
Okay. Is it?
Flavored.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
I appreciate
Kids have
that.
been sick all week. I'm just kidding. No, look at you. Did you see your face?
Yeah.
Your face. You're like, oh, what?
Yeah. Why? Why you bring that in
Why
here?
are you here?
Why you do that to me? Yeah.
Just trying to like remind you that we're all,
Your kids are
we're all
good
so
though.
vulnerable.
Yeah.
They're fine.
Yeah.
They're about to be homeschooled
When's that starting?
at the end of this quarter. My oldest doesn't know yet. Thank God.
Oh, end of the, like, oh, it's
It's coming up,
announced on
bro.
the podcast.
Yeah. My son doesn't
Dad,
listen.
I was listening. The first one he listens to. It's going to come running
My
downstairs.
son would be like, were you talking about me or Asa? And I said, who's the oldest? Well, me. Okay, there's your answer.
That's why you're being
homeschooled.
Yeah. End of this quarter, like, so spring, like maybe, when would that be? You're on the quarter system now in middle school, I guess.
I don't know.
What grade is that?
My wife was saying that it's like a few weeks away.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
But we've been thinking about this for a little while.
Okay.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's just one of those things. We can get into that at some point too.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, lots of changes.
What class are you going to teach?
Strategic foresight.
Yeah.
As a futurist, I'm going to teach
course.
them. Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be good.
It'll be great.
AI.
We're going to really let him take more of an active role in his curriculum.
Okay.
And that's actually true.
Yeah.
There's going to be structure.
Sure.
But we're not going to try and replicate what's happening in the school system because the structure of that, it doesn't fit for him.
Let's stay here for a while.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's stay
Education.
here. You ready to rock this one out?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting because when we were growing up, most of the homeschool stuff that's out there was fundamentalist, Christian.
They're probably just repeating the textbooks too, right? Like what they had in school?
Yeah, no. Because I got homeschooled one year because I got expelled. And that's another story.
Yeah, just add it to the list. Jeez.
Just mark it down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got expelled. So my freshman year of high school, I was homeschooled.
Wow.
Not my sophomore year.
Yeah.
Me and my mom were just like, that's not going to happen again.
Yeah.
Not happening again. But she decided to use this curriculum that came out of Pensacola Christian School or something. Oh, gosh.
Jeez.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Sorry, I'm having a traumatic
I was going
flashback.
to say that out loud.
Yeah.
That's not good.
Yeah. Well, anyway, needless to say, you're just basically doing school in a home.
That was the year you started drinking. Yeah.
Actually,
Yeah.
we were living in Germany.
Oh, of course.
No, yeah, my first sip of alcohol.
No drinking age.
Okay, so I'm about to say my first sip of alcohol was when I was 14. So then it's all like, oh my God, this guy's been drinking since he was 14. Yes, but not daily.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I went for years where it just wasn't even an issue.
Yeah.
But that's when I was racing. See, the way my brain is wired, my drug of
You
choice
had
was
the
a bike.
outlet. Yeah.
Yeah. When I quit, because I used to smoke 2 packs of cigarettes a day. Quit when I was 21. Quit drinking when I was
You were
21.
smoking Parliaments of it.
No. I smoked, let's see, in high school, I smoked, oh, these were gross. Doral. No, my cigarette of choice back in the day was Camels. Love some Camels.
Do your kids know you smoke?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, see, smoking is not a temptation. If I'm around cigarette smoke, it grosses me out.
It's awful.
It is. I hate it.
Smell
I
on your
do not
clothes
like
if
it.
you go to a bar. Yeah.
That was a real problem. 2 packs a day on average.
It was
That's a
crazy.
lot.
I was telling my kids, it's like you used to be able to smoke on an airplane.
I know.
So here's a smoking section.
When we
like,
were kids,
it
man,
matters.
It doesn't matter because all that air is just being
Yeah.
circulated. It's like, well, okay.
Yeah,
it's
you're
clean.
in row 36. And
I mean, airplanes do, their filtration system is really good,
yeah, I've heard that. You can't get COVID on an airplane. I don't know.
but you should wear a mask.
Yeah.
Not one that works, but one for theater.
Just to show off.
Oh, gee,
sorry.
yeah.
I don't want to go
No,
down that
come on.
path.
You want to go down there.
Yeah.
You don't want to go down there,
Yeah.
Eric.
Homeschool, education,
Yeah.
the future.
Well, and the other thing too is this. If you really think about it, if my kids were academically inclined the way the system is designed now, the system works for some kids.
Mhm.
But if you really think about the way our education system is set up, it's really set up not for kids to learn, for knowledge that they retain. It's set up for kids to learn how to take tests.
Mhm.
It's set up for kids how to learn how to take tests so they make better test scores, which is beneficial to the school district. But then for the kids, it gives them better standing and better chances of getting into college. And in my mind, it's like, unless you're going to be a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, something that actually requires higher education,
Yeah.
the ROI in college is terrible.
Yep.
My son asked me, he said, Dad, do I have to go to college? I said, no, you don't. I'd much rather him learn now how to run a business, how to start something, how to really function as a human being, instead of going through a system that doesn't really suit him. Because again, this was the same for me. And then trying to figure it out when he's in his 40s. I mean, I figured it out.
Oh, yeah. You got it all figured out. Yeah. Yeah.
I figured it out and then I'm like, I got to figure something else
What
out.
do you think about the thought of learning how to learn?
Yeah.
If they allow you to do that.
Sure.
Which I don't think it's difficult to do as you're younger, unless you are like really, you're wondering a lot. Like you want to go out and explore and discover and talk to teachers, right? Like in college, I think you have more of an opportunity to do that.
Yeah. You went to a small college, didn't you? Like, what was the
Smallest.
average?
There was 10,000 kids there, so that's not super small.
Okay, but how big were your classes?
Relatively small. I mean, it depended, right? It could be 10 to max, maybe max early would have been like 40,
Yeah.
but probably more like 20. So I just said a bunch of numbers. Yeah.
Yeah. That's good. Good math.
Yeah.
Yeah.
10,
See?
20, 40.
There's my point.
Yeah.
Terrible ROI.
Yeah.
But yeah, same here. In undergrad, I went to a small liberal arts school in Rome, Georgia.
How many kids go there?
When I was there,
What's the name of the school?
Berry College.
Yeah.
Yep. When I was there, I think there was 1,800.
That's small.
It's very small,
Yeah.
but there was 28,000 acres. I mean, the campus is gorgeous, man.
Yeah.
It really is one of the coolest places. It's way more fancy now than it was when I was there.
People all from Georgia or
No,
this area?
no. There's a lot of folks from out of state.
Like what state is the number one?
Oh, man, I don't know.
God.
How would I know what the number one state
That's
is?
it. We'll tell you. I'll let you know. You keep talking.
Yeah.
Because it says, like, sometimes it'd be like, California is the number one.
There's a lot of folks from North Carolina that went down there.
Okay.
Alabama, throughout the Southeast. You get some folks coming from Colorado. So you get people from out west. When I was a freshman there, I was coming from Missouri because that's where I graduated high school. Missouri.
Yeah.
That's right. It was great.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Mount Berry, Georgia.
That's the spot.
Yeah. Let's talk about it. Oh, there it is.
It's got a football team now.
Yeah.
It was actually written into Martha Berry's will that there would be no football team. I don't know how they got around that.
Yeah.
Because they were talking about that when I was there.
Do you know how much it costs today? Just for the education, not dorm, room and board, all that.
What is it?
What do you think it is?
37,000?
Yeah, you're close. 39.
Yeah.
It's good for you.
That's way more than it was when I was there.
Ooh, wow. 2,100 kids.
Oh, they've got
Georgia's 1, Tennessee 2, Alabama, Florida, North Carolina, Southeast.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that makes sense because you're not far from Chattanooga.
Yeah. 64% female to male.
It's always been that way.
Yeah. Good for you.
Yeah.
If you're into that kind of thing,
Yeah. If you're into ratios.
Yeah.
I really like ratios a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, about homeschool. Philosophy that we're kind of following here is, I'm not trying to shelter my kid. What it is providing an environment where he can really figure out who he is.
Yeah.
Both of them really. Because right now, these are the formative years. And he doesn't have access to certain things that a lot of his friends do. Like I've said before, like he's not getting a smartphone. I really do think I don't mean this in a judgmental way, but because I'm very familiar with how these devices work, very familiar with what all's there, I don't think it's a good thing for 6th graders to have smartphones.
Yeah.
If it's just a phone, fine. But you're giving them a portal to the entire world.
Mm-hmm.
And that sounds very like, oh, you're opening their minds to the entire world. I'm like, until you know what the entire world really entails.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things you don't want your kids to see out there.
Yeah.
And if you think that the security blocks you put on there are going to stop them, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
Because they're not.
Yeah.
Those things are not very hard to crack.
I feel like you're talking to me right now. You just called me an idiot.
Oh, wait a minute.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Or am I?
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's my...
Oh, you're right.
Again, I'm not trying to say, look, I'm going to shelter him from everything that's out there. But if he's going to learn about certain things, I would much rather have an environment that he learns them in a healthy way, right? And really just create an environment where he can be himself without feeling the external pressure of performance in a system that he's not really good at.
Yeah.
That puts you on a path that he's not really inclined towards. I mean, parents know.
Yeah.
Parents know early on. My kid's ADD, just like his dad.
Yeah.
So if I would have had all the resources available to me that they do now, God, who knows what would have happened?
Yeah.
I mean, the way they dealt with kids our age when we were that age was hallway. Spent a lot of time in the hallway.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for us, it's...
This is when we pan out and Julian has a video of you in the hallway.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. I'll get you one, Julian.
Yeah.
No problem. There was a lot, heavy surveillance when I was a kid.
Yeah. What about I think through this, it's like, okay, let's play the other side of this. Because sheltered, I think you used that word before.
Right, yeah.
You got to be careful with sheltering a kid. You talk about kids they grow up with the same ideologies as their parents or grandparents, whether it's what their belief system or their political view or racism, right? It's like, well, in this house, this is how we think about this group of people. And that's not good. Where if that kid would have had exposure, let's say, to other cultures,
sure,
he might have, or she might have thought why would we think that in this house?
Right.
My best friend is this, or, what have you.
Yeah.
So that's a dangerous thing to not have exposure. But at the same time, it's then you're exposing it to pedophiles and creeps and, you just don't know.
Yeah.
It's like those, what was it, Dateline, where they set those people up and they came to the house. I mean, it's just, you laugh, but it's disgusting.
No, I know. There's been so many SNL spoofs and everything else on this too. About, To Catch a Predator or something.
That's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Our goal is not to create some type of fictitious environment.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't plan to raise the kids with any set in this house, we believe this. They spend the majority of their day at school. And then they come home and then they have homework. It's just stupid. I mean, studies have been done that show that does not advance anything at all. It doesn't help.
Homework doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
So they've got homework.
What if they're writing a paper?
Well, I mean, if they're writing a paper, that's an assignment. So it's like, hey, look, you can work on this. This thing is due.
It's a project.
Right.
Yeah.
But, elementary school and then up into 6th grade, which is also weird because 6th grade was part of elementary school when we were kids. No, I still don't understand that.
Because they're just printing off or like ripping out pages of their book and say, hey, we'll do all these worksheets.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Which is just silly. So, with us, we're really thinking, I always love the idea of having more freedom to operate at our schedule, at our pace. My kids are smart. They love to learn. My oldest doesn't learn the way that school teaches you how to learn, if they even teach you how to do that. So if we can provide that kind of environment where he can start to work on things that are really important to him, because when he's interested in something, he can master it. So having a different approach to where he's learning how to think critically, learning how to think. In school, you're pretty much told what to think. So that's really a simple way of looking at it. The environment that we want to create is an environment that encourages learning how to think, asking better questions, questioning what you read, focusing on the end goal. That's the other thing too. There's so much focus on process to get to the end goal. The process becomes much more important than the end result. The end result is just like, well, then you did the process right. And to me, that's just fucking stupid. To me, the most important thing is, hey, what's the end objective? Great. Now, use your creative ability, use your critical thinking to figure out how to come to that conclusion.
Yeah.
It's that simple. Because then what that does is it forces them to stay focused on the end goal.
Yeah.
And to me, that's a life skill that everybody needs that.
Yeah.
I was about to say most people don't have it. I'm like, I don't know that most people don't have that. But I do find that oftentimes, there's always like confusion with objectives and metrics. So say, oh, what's your end goal? Well, we want to develop a strategic plan to do it. No, pause. That's not an end goal. That right there should lead to an end goal that has a tangible result. So teaching them how to see the world and see end goals and objectives and to learn that way to solve a problem, that to me is much more valuable. That's a life skill.
Yeah.
Have
you thought of Montessori school? And you have a thought on that maybe?
Yeah. He'd do great in that, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But he's going to be in 7th grade.
Yeah. I'm not saying that's the answer either. One of our kids went to Montessori for preschool. And for her, it was great.
Yeah.
But I saw a lot of the fallout with other kids. They went to another year of it. And it was like, it so very much depended on who was like kind of watching over.
Right.
And if they were too far out there.
Yeah.
Well, you didn't read this year. It's okay. You didn't like reading. You didn't want to read. It's like, what? No.
No. There'll be lots of reading.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have yet to meet a kid who is genuinely homeschooled that isn't leaps and bounds ahead of kids that are his similar age.
Yeah.
Just think about this, man. You want to learn anything, it's available online. I know we were just talking about opening up the world to your kids, but in a controlled environment, say, hey, look, you can learn so much from YouTube.
Yeah.
Right? YouTube's amazing.
Oh, yeah.
I've learned how to do so many things around the house just by watching YouTube videos. Digging up irrigation lines, putting in a sump pump. Here's how to do it.
Yeah. That's what YouTube's probably best for.
Yeah.
Is learning the things that someone could teach you how to do.
Exactly.
But then if you could read on top of it and explore whatever
for sure.
want. Yeah.
Yeah. To understand that, to learn those things. And also both my kids are really creative.
Yeah.
So learning how to create and then leverage these tools to put some of their creations out in the world.
Yeah.
Like that's a good skill to have too.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. It's a big decision, but it's one that we're excited about.
That's cool.
I like the idea of not being beholden to the school calendar as well. That's also me. I like the idea of not being beholden to any kind of structure.
Yeah.
Which is why I've never worked for anybody in my entire professional career.
Yeah.
And it's also why I'm lonely and sad.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Switch it up. Yeah.
Let's keep it dark. I know we're about to go into something fun.
Deep. I don't know.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
Well, maybe listeners will know that I'm not just a mindless idiot.
Well, are people going, pick any profession, I don't know. You go to school and you come out of school.
Right.
And the rate at which technology is, I saw yesterday, it was 2007.
Yeah.
Yesterday, where Steve Jobs introduced the iPhone.
Yeah.
That's wild.
That is crazy.
That was 16 years ago.
Yep.
And we've seen what the iPhone's gone through, from the first iteration to what we have today, and where technology's like the direction it's going. So when you go to school, let's say you go to engineering, you get a degree in engineering, you come out of school and you obviously know more about engineering than most everybody else. But the technology's changed so fast, or it will change in the next 3 or 4 years. Like you have to continually learn. And that's the whole thing of like learning how to learn, like enjoying that process or understanding the need for that. Because when you come out of school, it's like a lot of times you're like, well, I finished school, so I'm done learning.
Right.
Why would I continue to do that? Like you have no choice, especially now when like 20 years ago, even not that long ago, you were okay not, right? Like,
Yeah.
you could get through because the stuff wasn't changing that much. You go to a conference and you're good to go.
Okay, so go back to what I was saying about teaching my son how to focus on the end goal and the job being in everything, getting to that end goal, not worried about how you get there.
Yeah.
But looking at the end goal and saying, okay, I very clearly understand the objective. Now it's up to me to determine the most effective and efficient way to get there.
Yeah.
So technology, if you look at it in the same way, technology can continue to change rapidly. So what? Technology is just a tool. That's it.
Right.
It requires human intention. But if you are learning how and only how, or primarily how, to focus on process, and you're not so clear on the end goal or the objective, then technology will always trip you up. But if you're objective focused, technology is just another tool.
Yeah.
So great.
Yeah.
So the faster it accelerates, that doesn't become a problem for you. It becomes an advantage.
Yeah.
Because you're like, great, I've got new tools that can possibly help me get to that end goal faster.
Yeah.
But in school,
that's
it's
good.
like, no, it's all about process.
Yeah.
Did you put this line here? Did you mark this here? Who fucking cares? I figured it out.
Yeah.
No, but you got to go through this exact same process. Why? Well, you got to show your work. Yeah, you're going around the block to get next door. I just took this straight line.
Yeah.
I beat you to it. Well, that's not the right way to do it. What?
Yeah.
That's not learning. That's indoctrination. You're going to create an entire, like, go on a rant, like, and the state is raising my children.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's go there.
Okay.
AI, right? ChatGPT.
Yeah, you wrote a whole story.
Yeah, man. I wrote a story.
You didn't write the story. You directed the story.
People are freaking out because it's just what you said. It's going to take my job. Let's say you're a marketer.
Sure.
And your job is to write, copyright, whatever. Possibly. Yeah. If you allow it. At the same time, someone has to give it the input.
Right.
And tweak it and massage it, whatever that is that you have to do with it. But like, man, like it's a tool that gets you the next thing. Because like, if I were to say, hey, I'm going to go hire someone to write, they can't write as well and as fast. Like, think about like that story. And so you can give context to what that was. But like, that took no time for the AI to write that story.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it was perfect.
No.
There's inaccuracies.
A lot of nuance that was left out.
Correct.
No, they did get into a lot of nuance. It was really
got into a lot of nuance, right? So it's like
hand through the hair.
Yeah,
that was good.
Yeah, you like that.
That was really good.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So I have a system like that. The one that I've got is Jasper AI, and it's a great interface and all kinds of options. But as I say all the time, technology is the one thing that overpromises 100% of the time, or that overpromises and underdelivers 100% of the time.
Yeah.
So Jasper AI is great. But if you have expertise in a specific field or area that requires more explanation, these AI generating systems, it requires more work. But if you're just writing about basic dumb shit, that's kind of like, oh yeah, of course.
Right.
Like, hey, 5 ways to start a blog.
Correct.
No, that's easy.
Yeah.
Click the button and Jasper will just rock it out for you. Done. But if you're talking about, especially if you have intellectual property, so this is where I think the difference is. Until the AI can become customizable to you, like I'll tell you something that would be highly valuable. And if you know that this exists, please enlighten me. But if the AI was able to work with me as my assistant, not just saying I'm drawing from the internet and everywhere.
Right.
But I have learned, you have created enough content, video, audio, written, to where this thing knows your voice.
Yeah.
And knows how to anticipate you. Because that's where
we're going.
ChatGPT, and all of this stuff, what it really is it's anticipating the next word in a sentence. You tell it to do certain things, and it has the ability to anticipate a logical flow of words to come up. But it has no idea what it's thinking. It has no idea what it's writing. It's just following an algorithm, pulling from, say, based on X, Y, and Z inputs, this is the next logical thing that's going to be stated.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it can go off the rails. You can have it start writing a short story, or you can have it, there are times where you're having it write about a certain topic, and it can start going into a racist rant, which is wild. And you're like, whoa.
Yeah,
okay.
How do we go there?
Yeah. Because it's following, certain lines of logic of, but that doesn't always work 100% of the time.
Yeah.
It's pretty impressive what it can do.
Yeah.
Reading articles now, though, I can almost, just because I've seen enough of what, GPT-3, which is really, you've got chat, you've got content generation, all of those things. You see the kind of formats that it creates. Like if you're just trying to find out what the best set of headphones is in 2023 for podcasting, it's going to have a format that's similar to this. Is instead of just telling you, hey, like if you go to CES?
The conference?
No, not the conference. I'm sorry. It's the consumer.
It's in Vegas. It's a conference.
Yeah, okay, maybe it's their website. So anytime I want to get like real consumer feedback on stuff,
I know what you mean.
then I'll go there and you get it and you realize like, okay, they're not about to try and sell me something on the back end. So if I want to know the best podcasting headphones are in 2023, instead of doing what Consumer Report does, say, hey, we listened to these podcasts, we did this, and this, and here's our top 5 or top 3 or whatever it is. An article that's usually created by GPT-3 is going to say, we're going to talk about why it's so important. So they're going to kind of follow this framework that's built in. What makes podcasting headphones or what differentiates podcasting headphones to other headphones, why it's so important to have them, like all this stuff you didn't ask for. So it's kind of building all this stuff up. And then they're going to say, and these are the ones that we recommend. But the recommendations are going to basically just be, here's the features of each. They're not going to tell you, this is number 1.
Right.
You can see that format. I can read articles now. I don't know if it's just because I've seen enough of them where I'm like, that was written by a bot.
Yeah. Yeah.
A human didn't do that.
Yeah.
But most people aren't going to be able to see that. I'm not saying because I have some special talent. It's because I've played around enough with this stuff and been very disappointed in a lot of the results.
Right.
But again, I'm asking it to do more complex things.
Correct. Can it be enough though to get someone started?
Oh, of course.
Which is the point of like, yeah, the technology's here. Maybe it's coming for your job, or maybe you utilize it to make you better.
You've got to utilize
more efficient.
Yeah. If
faster.
I utilize Jasper for smaller things, that'll be great.
Yeah.
But I'm usually going in there asking it to do big things.
Yeah.
And it's failing. So I'm like, this isn't really what I
it's
need
pretty
to
crazy
do.
when you just look at boss modes as the pricing, right? So 50,000 words a month, $49.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying, I don't know. I have to test it out.
Yeah.
So
I'll let you test mine out.
Yeah.
We'll split the cost.
Oh, you paid for it?
Man, I've been paying for it for like 7 months.
Really?
Yeah, dude.
It's not that good. You don't like it?
No, it takes time. Like you got to work with it.
And
learn
they say
it.
that. They say you have to learn it. There's not a day. If I go to Twitter, I'll go through my feed on Twitter and everyone's using ChatGPT, but no one's doing it right. Here are 10 ways you can, and then they have the tweet thread.
That was written by ChatGPT.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. A lot of times. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it gets incredible engagement because people are just fascinated by it.
Yeah.
Okay. So we went from, you have COVID and then the metaverse kicks in a little bit.
Come on, bring it.
Yeah. Bitcoin, NFTs.
Yeah.
Everyone's going down that path, Web3.
Right.
So then I'm not saying that's gone anywhere because clearly we're in the metaverse right now, right? This is happening.
We're living in a simulation.
We had a comment on one of our posts, another one, I haven't showed you this one.
Oh.
It's like, we are definitely living in a simulation. I mean, the person was like, yeah.
They were all over it?
Yeah, it was on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool.
So Elon Musk thinks that too. So if Elon believes it, well,
I mean, it must be
we
true.
must be.
Does Mark think so?
I can't talk about my conversation with Mark. I've got a non-disclosure agreement.
Well, that happens since we last spoke.
I've broken it multiple times.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I still try to, for the most part, honor it.
Yeah.
Selectively.
Yeah. We'll see what happens. We'll see where this goes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I don't know.
Yeah. Threw you with that non-disclosure, didn't I?
Yeah. But now we're going to ChatGPT. So like all the tweet threads were about this and then they're about this and now they're about ChatGPT, AI. How are you going to do this in the future? What jobs is it going to replace? Give me examples. And it talks about like, why do I need to hire an attorney anymore when I get pulled over, which we talked about on another episode. People really enjoyed that one. They said, don't put the dome lights on. That's bad. But anyway.
Why?
I don't know. Someone disagreed with you.
It was probably a bot.
Yeah.
See, now ChatGPT can also become
he looks like a real person. They can make it look like.
I hope he's a real person.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Because that means we have real people listening to us.
Yeah. This is for him. We'll make sure
whoever
he
you are,
sees it.
buddy.
Yeah.
This is for you.
Yeah. There you go. So I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, if you throw the dome lights on and you're worried about getting lit up, well, maybe you've got some other problems, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. So where ChatGPT, well, just GPT-3 in general, where this whole thing can become really beneficial, and where it's already beneficial, is that it does a really good job of crafting things. It pulls from all over the internet. So it's able to pull from samplings of content that rank high. So it does really good for SEO. But then it comes down to this issue of, oh man, who was talking? I can't remember who was talking about this. I think it was somebody on Aubrey Marcus's podcast. I can't remember the guy's name.
It's okay.
but he was talking about the difference between content and art. And I thought this was really good. So content is where you're just, and I've certainly been a part of this too, where it's like twice daily, boom, content, creating these content, following Gary Vee's model of pillar content, take one long form thing, chop that sucker up so you can just blast it.
We do a little bit of that, right?
Yeah. And you know what? It serves a purpose.
Yeah.
And so ChatGPT 3, all that stuff works really well in that arena.
Yeah.
Lots of content generation. Quality is not as important. Quantity is what's important. But then if you're trying to run into, and this is my opinion, and so if somebody can show me where I'm wrong on this, but if you have intellectual property, and I'm really talking about your ideas, the way you say things, concepts, ideas, formulas, and so on, and you're trying to get this AI to write like you, to create things that are unique to your content, that's more difficult. That's why I'm saying if you can have something that really just focuses on you, and the benefit of that too also would be that it's pulling from the internet to say, hey, look, I know what you're trying to say here. A better way to say this would be this, and it'll rank higher. Like a system that really kind of shows you, this is your content. You talk about it this way, but, and again, this would require understanding on part of the machine, which again, it doesn't. It's just, it knows what words to put after the next.
Right.
If it was able to understand, for example, that what I'm trying to say is better understood by the kinds of people I'm trying to reach by saying it this way, that would be hugely beneficial.
Yeah.
Because now I know it's a communication breakdown.
Yeah.
So that would be really, really beneficial. But I think for right now, it's going to be difficult for folks to utilize this if they're more focused on their own intellectual property, their own brand. If they're just putting out generic shit.
Well, just to get on Google. Well, and then you think about, what's going to happen with Google, right? TikTok and YouTube, which is part of it. I get it. But the way we seek out information is changing. So now if you can use ChatGPT to find, let's say, the best hotel, why do I need to go to Google when I can have a actually more intuitive conversation with my AI?
Let's do it right now.
Right? No, we can. We will.
I like that. I'm sorry. Jump ahead.
Okay. Because I like where you're going with who you're competing against when you rank on Google. Because some of these things, it's like, good luck. And even if you do rank, is anyone searching that?
Did you pay for that?
What does it even matter? Because if you're creating art, and it's for that one person or 10 or the smallest viable audience, right? Seth Godin term.
I like that.
Isn't that more useful?
Yeah.
But I get it because I think about transaction versus building a project. I'm fascinated by a documentary. I talked to someone who created a documentary, talk about medicating normal, talk about medication. Well, this documentary interviewed all of these people and what they had to do to produce this 1 hour and a half documentary that's on Amazon and Apple TV and PBS. A lot of time and effort went into it. There might have been small mini transactions along the way of little goals they had to hit. There was no transaction. They weren't selling a product.
Right.
So in the insurance business, which you've been in, and I was on a different side of it, even though on our side, life insurance, which we still have, is a long process. So if someone wants to buy a life insurance policy, it might take 4 to 6 weeks. And honestly, it could take 6 months for that policy to go through. So that's a very long transaction, but it still is a transaction. When you're in the business and working for a company and they're saying, hey, how much did you produce this month? And we'll pay you based off of that.
Right.
Next month, you start at 0. Next year, you really start at 0. So now you get, and it's talk about habits, which we talked about before. So we're going full circle.
At you, man.
We're going full
look
circle.
At you connecting dots. I'm so impressed.
I know.
It's so good.
It's the coffee.
It is.
So
you're welcome.
That makes you a transaction-oriented person. If you're selling stocks, if you're selling widgets, and there's nothing wrong with it. I'm saying, so then when you go to the art side of things, the creative side, it's difficult. I have a hard time with it sometimes, and I've gotten better at it to say, where's the next transaction in that?
Yeah. Well, I would differentiate art and, for instance, if you're truly creating, say, with traditional art, you're creating a painting and you're putting that out there, that's still transactional. But if you're trying to sell ideas and we're framing it up as art because you're not just putting out the same 5 ideas that the other 300,000 people are putting out, but you're saying it a different way, a way that helps to differentiate you from other people, we can frame that up more as look, that's art. It takes time. There's intention behind that. It's not just about pumping it out as fast as you can. You were trying to put something out that...
Well, maybe I'm talking about when I say transaction.
Selling ideas is harder than selling a painting.
Yeah, no, I get that. And maybe it's more of something... create it, because even that documentary, they're selling it, right? You have to pay $3.99 to watch it. So it's still a transaction. They want to make money on it. it doesn't matter if they want to raise awareness and donate to a charity.
You got to pay your bills.
So I get that. Like, I still feel like it's different than the typical transaction. Maybe that's where I'm going. By the way, ChatGPT is at capacity right now. So this has become a problem.
Yes.
So I can't access it. So you wanted the whole thing we want to do? We can't do it. I'm sorry.
Well, we could go to Jasper.
We could.
Yeah. I didn't bring my computer though.
This has been over the last week. I've noticed this because imagine if you transitioned your business and we're all ChatGPT now.
Yeah.
Well, sorry, you can't use it because it's down. It's basically like your employee's sick. Can't come to work today.
Right.
Sorry.
Yeah. Too bad.
Do.
Well, and this is an open source. This is open source.
Yeah. And now everyone's learning about it.
Right,
and so it's like, oh my gosh, it hasn't been working great over the last week.
No, not at all. Jasper's done a really good job. Jasper's really good, well-structured, and they've been around for a little while relative to how long GPT-3 has been operating.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to pay for it.
I don't know if you can. I got to see. I'm going to find out.
Yeah.
But transaction, like a quick turnaround. Like a transaction sometimes feels like, I give you this, you give me that in return. We shake, we sign, whatever, and we're off. We're done. We did it.
Right.
And I guess the creation of this podcast, maybe it's not a trend. This is art.
I give you this, the interaction. You give me friendship publicly.
Boom. Done. Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay.
That's a fact.
What about the listener? Because they get entertainment.
The listener gets
knowledge, saving.
The listener gets to live vicariously through you.
Okay. There's always a transaction. So if we're getting deep with the word transaction, because I'm creating this,
right? You're
giving me your time by listening to it.
Yep.
That's a transaction.
Yeah, if you want to get philosophical about it.
It is. But so I guess that's my point is it's different than the creation of a product in turn to sell it like immediately and get money or something in return for that.
Yeah. So let's pull back out of the weeds here.
Please.
And,
help save me.
Yeah.
Save me.
I'd have to do it all the time.
Yeah.
I'm like your life vest.
Yeah.
All right. Do you want to wear me? You should wear me.
You see those videos where you can like work with your vest. I can do push-ups every morning.
With the weighted vest?
On me. No, with the Jared vest.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's a really good idea. See, that's a product that could be developed for a specific type of transaction.
Yeah. Everything's a transaction now, isn't it? We just can't get away from that.
No. Depends on how you look at it.
Yeah.
It always comes down to this. We need life insurance. But if you're worried that the person you're selling life insurance to is just going to see it as a transaction, then that's a silly worry.
Yeah.
Because they need it. But they're going to buy it from somebody. Mm-hmm. So then they're going to buy it from the person that they like the most. Mm-hmm. As long as the person that they like the most can still provide them with the best possible option.
Yeah.
It all comes down to the person at the end of the day.
Okay.
It does. I mean, this is also why a lot of these AI replacements have been talked about for, getting close to 20 years, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you saw this with Zenefits. Wasn't that what it was called?
Yeah.
And that crashed and burned.
Yeah.
Can't keep up with compliance.
That's bad.
AI doesn't respect regulations.
I went to a health conference. My cousin was speaking there. He listened to this podcast before. This is for you. And they were not one person there was a fan of Zenefits.
Well, of course.
Yeah. And they shouldn't have been. And these are good people.
Yeah. And the part of it too is that the insurance industry is one of the biggest, they're kind of the epitome of late laggard.
Yeah.
Right? They do not adopt things until they're drug.
And I get it. So Zenefits is trying to go fast, but then they went maybe too fast.
But then they're also trying to completely disrupt the business model of the insurance industry.
Sure. No, right.
Insurance companies, whatever. But the insurance business is built on relationships of brokers and agents in the field.
Yeah.
And those people, because I was one for 11 years, you still have your license, you still do business, insurance. Commission is how you get paid. It's how you're incentivized. You want to come in and mess with that? Not happening.
Yeah.
Not happening.
Yeah. But they did some shady stuff too, I believe. We'll just assume that. Yeah.
We'll just assume the AI did
They're still in business, aren't they?
I don't know.
Like a little bit. I feel like I see their buildings around. Maybe just never took their signs down. No, Zenefits is still going to show up. Yeah, there it is. They're doing great.
Cool.
Yeah. I don't know what they do.
Yeah.
HR.
Are they just
payroll benefits? People ops.
Gotcha. Oh, I like that.
That's a cool word.
Not really.
1P. Yeah.
Yeah. That's goofy.
They hired a lot of like good looking females.
Probably pulled over from pharmaceuticals.
Yeah. Yeah. Or payroll.
Payroll does that too. That's because that is a pharmaceutical company.
That's an ADP thing.
Strategy.
Yeah,
ADP would do that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Interesting.
That is interesting.
Yeah. Then they would sell. They get paid, I don't know, it was like 3 months. And then a new person would come in.
Uh-huh.
And then you're like they would bring you in and then you're working with someone totally different. And then you're like, yeah, screw you.
Yeah.
But they're so big. It's like, where else are you going to go? Like, you got all my stuff. It's so much easier to stay.
There's a lot of turnover.
Yeah. Yeah. It's good. ChatGPT is still not working.
No.
So I tried it on Google just to see if they had a better relationship than Safari. See it. That would work. It didn't work.
Yeah. Look, also it's free for the most part. I know OpenAI you have to buy. It's still super cheap, but it's not a pretty interface. It's open source.
What is not?
OpenAI.
Okay.
It's where ChatGPT 3 is.
Right.
It's from the same group.
Yeah, it's the same.
Yeah.
That's the people.
So OpenAI, you can go on and start creating content and things like that. So I, had signed up for that in the beta. They're also the ones that have DALL-E. So that's the creating art.
Yeah. That was big.
Yeah.
So I'm saying like all this stuff. And who else is working on this stuff right now?
Oh, there's a lot of companies. Yeah. But a lot of them are drawing from this database.
Okay.
They're drawing from, so GPT-3 is, think of like an engine.
Yeah.
So a lot of these other companies, like I think Jasper, Copy.ai.
Yeah.
Some of these other companies that are out there, they're pulling from GPT-3.
Yeah. So what do you think about, as I had heard this, I just Googled it real quick just to confirm. Headline, NBC News, ChatGPT banned from New York City public schools, devices and networks. Talking about homeschool. So like kids can't use it because write me an essay about World War II and how it started. I don't know, like, right? And it would do it for you pretty easily and a lot better than 8th grader would do it, let's say.
Yeah.
So they're canceling it. But it's, what is GPT and why are schools blocking it? That's in the AP News. And I've heard about it in other locations as well. But
okay, so think, what's the end goal of somebody writing an essay? I mean, it's homework.
Right. To become a better writer, think, and research and
all
that
if it
stuff.
becomes your job. But in school, come on, let's be honest.
Why? No, I think reading and writing was for your kids.
Yes, for sure.
100%.
Reading and writing, all of that is really important.
Right.
Writing essays, writing papers.
That was my biggest gripe because we've switched schools, right? Is that I'm like, do you all ever, this is when they're in public school, do you all ever write?
Right.
Now I get it. Anyone can write. Like, you don't have to go to school to write.
Not
to learn how
everybody
to
can
write.
write.
No, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
But anyone who's got the ability, the cognitive ability to sit down and put pen to paper or keyboard, can write.
True.
I'm not saying they can write well,
but they can write.
Right. Or write good.
A school for kids who can't write good or can't read good.
That's good.
So stupid, man.
But anyone can do that. They don't need school for that. But a lot of kids aren't going to do it because it's like no one's assigning that to them. So if they're being assigned the project to say, well, what are you going to study? They weren't writing like at all. And like, this is ridiculous. Like, then they go and now they are writing. And I do like the assignments that they're writing about, and they get interested in that topic that they otherwise wouldn't have explored. What was it, like women pay gap, let's say in Venezuela and Italy, and comparing it in the history to today. And I'm like, wow, that's a fascinating topic.
Yeah.
And you have to research that. It's not just like something you just pull up.
Right.
ChatGPT might do a good job of that. But you might find your sources through ChatGPT to say, find it to me faster.
Well, try that when it's back up.
Yeah.
Because this is one of the problems that it runs into, is that you need to fact check, because it's not sitting there thinking critically, well, you know what? We really need to get into the nuance of the pay gap of women in Venezuela compared to the United States or whatever they're trying to compare.
Right.
What it can do, it'll be able to pull data, right? But then to be able to construct that into an argument, maybe, but you definitely need to go back and look through it.
100%.
Even with Jasper, they say this too, right? Is, hey, look, it can generate this and look at that as a first draft. You need to go back through and make sure that it actually fits the way you want. It'll give you a good first go, but you still should probably go and tweak a few things if something doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And those business models are smart, because while you have something generate content, if it generates bad content because you're on a credit system, right? Like, how many characters, 50,000 a month, you don't want to waste all that stuff trying to figure it out. So if it's creating bad content, you can downvote it, recredit those back to you. And what you're actually doing is you're training the AI. So if you say this was irrelevant, this was generic, whatever it is, that system, because that's how it operates. You're training the AI to do better. So you got people paying for a service that generates content that end user gets to help train. It's a really smart business model.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Now go back to the school thing. Not allowing the kids to use AI. It seems to me like the government, the states are being like, we don't know what this is, so put a block up.
Yeah.
And we're not allowing this right now. Whereas opposed to bringing in a futurist, right? Maybe let's talk about it. Let's learn about this thing.
Yeah.
But I get it, because it's like, it's in the middle of the school year.
Sure.
This thing flies and it's like flying off the shelves. how do we manage this?
Hey,
And I get it. Because what do you got
piece
there?
of gum?
That's like David Goggins stuff. He was in SEALs,
He was in Navy
bud
SEAL.
training, and so to be out there, he put peanut butter in his pocket.
Oh, it's a pine needle.
He put peanut butter in his pocket because he knew he needed more calories to sustain himself.
Yeah.
Smart. So that's what you do with bubble gum.
It's not bubble gum, man.
Peppermint.
Mentos. Yeah, can you smell
Oh,
that?
it's a Mento.
Yeah. Sugar-free.
The Fresh Maker.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, classic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are good.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're talking about AI, schools.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, in the environment that we want to raise our kids in, they would look at AI as a tool to help you achieve an end objective. If you're in an environment that is geared primarily towards testing, AI is very problematic.
Yeah.
If it's towards completion of a...
No, I get that. So it's bad for the bad, but it's good for the good. That makes no sense, but you got me.
Sure.
Yeah.
Nope. Don't understand.
You did it?
But I'm going to smile like I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't, no, it's like, it's bad for the bad intention of great for the test, but it's good for the kid that's like interested. Wouldn't you want a kid who's got like building and interest and wants to learn and do all these things? Like, wouldn't you want that child to have the opportunity to learn about AI, considering like that's the direction we're going? Right.
Yeah. And I'll tell you the primary reason
you don't want
kids...
you don't want them to cheat with it.
Right.
That's like anything. Like you don't take advantage of the technology. Just because you can hack into the Pentagon doesn't mean you should.
Cut that. Yeah. That's going to...
That's not going to...
See, that's where AI will pick up on this.
Yeah.
So you know how we get COVID warnings? COVID. Now we're going to get the blue COVID warning.
We haven't gotten it so long.
Are they not paying attention?
No, I think it's just because they're like, God, we don't know. No one knows.
But it's AI. It's not like somebody's going in and listening going, oh, they mentioned COVID, so we need to put it on there.
Yeah.
I'm a little disappointed that we don't have the COVID warnings.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll deal with that later.
Well, we'll get it. Here you go. I'm going to get you COVID warning. What's the new variant called? Kraken COVID symptoms.
Even Google doesn't care anymore.
Kraken by Canadian biology professor Dr. Ryan Gregory is the most transmissible COVID variant yet. It's actually the name. It's Kraken. Kraken's the name of a hockey team.
Kraken's also the name of a mythical beast that lives underwater.
Yeah, it's the Seattle Kraken. It's a hockey team. Yeah.
It's badass.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Now you're a little bit worried.
Not really.
I didn't know it was the most transmissible yet.
Right.
XBB 1.5. You know what it sounds like? Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course. Look at us.
Good.
We're so smart.
God. Vibing.
Here's why.
It's because you're not drinking anymore. So I appreciate that.
That's been months. The fast, I think all of our podcasts.
It takes time.
It does take time.
Yeah.
It takes time.
Yeah. You know what I hear now? What is that? ASR?
ASMR.
It's a chewing of the gum.
And then the deep breath.
What? I told you, like, shh. Shh. I was sitting there.
Get away from the microphone.
I heard my kids talking about AMSR. I'm like,
ASMR.
ASMR. That's a boomer, right?
Dude.
Yeah.
Except you're not a boomer, you're Gen X, but who cares about us?
The forgotten generation. The lost generation.
The lost generation.
Because we're kind of like Gen X. These generations are like vast. Like they're many years.
Mm-hmm.
The like younger Gen X is very close to millennial. Like,
well, they actually refer to us as Xennials because we're right on the line. That's a thing.
Shut the front door. Wow.
Watch your
Xennials?
mouth.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Xennials.
Because we're so right there.
Yeah.
So what's a boomer Xer? Like, what would they be? Like the young boomers?
I don't think that there was anything significant about Gen X that they felt they needed to have a crossover.
Yeah.
Nobody gives a shit.
Whose fault was that?
The millennials. No, it's Gen X's fault.
No, is it because the boomers were such a big deal and millennials were such a big deal that it's like...
It's because they're the largest demographic. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should be dominating them. There's no competition.
Well, we're the ones that kind of created all the stuff that millennials are getting credit for using.
Yeah. So like Elon, Steve Jobs, but Steve Jobs would have been...
He's a boomer.
Yeah.
Yep. I thought Bezos was X, but he's not. He was a boomer.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
What were we talking about earlier?
That doesn't matter.
We got off track. Most likely my fault.
No, it was COVID.
Oh, but we were talking about AI. This is why I want my kids to get really familiar with AI.
Yeah.
I want them to figure out how to destroy it.
Mm-hmm. When your coffee maker starts attacking you, you can write code to kill it.
Here's the thing. If you're really familiar with how a device or AI works and you're on top of it, then you know how to work with it, right?
Yeah.
If you are constantly on the back end and you're being bombarded with, oh, look at this, look at that, and then ChatGPT 3 and all this other kind of stuff is coming out, GPT-3 has been out for a while, right? But it's, in the coder world and all this other kind of stuff is there. People testing.
My boy just took off.
Well, sure.
One man.
I mean, when you have an entire information ecosphere that is incentivized towards quantity, and now you have a machine that can generate content. Really, the question that I would be interested in, and you're kind of coming back to this because of this, is how does content change with this in the realm? Because all this is really doing now is being able to create content like we've been incentivized for 20 years.
Yeah.
What does content have to evolve to now?
Yeah.
Because this makes all this other content and the type of content that's being put out there kind of irrelevant.
Yeah.
If people are even wondering,
God,
did a bot do this or did a human do this? Well, that's,
now where were you?
Now people just shut down.
It was like, write me the speech that will win the 2024 presidential election.
That's a great thing.
In the voice of JFK.
Ooh.
Oh my God.
So good.
It's like, my man, and this guy reminds us of JFK and whatever, and blah, blah, blah. And you're like, I'm voting for it's going to change everything. Change the course of history.
Yeah.
AI.
Sure.
And they won't know it.
Right.
Maybe they won't know.
Well, and that's true. A lot of people won't know. But if you know how to look for things, that goes back to everything.
Yeah.
If you know how to identify certain things, then you're not caught off guard.
Okay. So when everyone's putting, there's a lot of people using, obviously we can't even get into it. So a lot of people are using ChatGPT, Jasper, all these AI. Is all that information that's going in there, they're using that and they're testing it. And it's like beta. So OpenAI is getting better at what they do. Is the AI getting continuously better by the millisecond because of we're putting all this information? Then they're going to have all this data of what people think, and the AI is just exponentially going to just dominate.
Sure. There's concern about AI becoming sentient, right? Having consciousness.
Say that word again.
Sentient.
Okay.
Spell that word.
Yeah.
Don't ask me.
Yeah. That's when you go off in tears on the spelling bee.
But that's also where I think AI really becomes truly beneficial. Right?
Yeah.
Is that if it is able to think independently, but you always have to go back, machine learning, AI. So machine learning, it's machines that learn. So the more information we plug into that, the smarter it gets.
I didn't spell it right. Sorry. Go ahead.
SENTIENT.
Yeah.
Yeah. The smarter it gets. By smarter really just means it can calculate what the next, it can anticipate better. That's really what it does.
Yeah.
But if it gets to a certain point where it can think, not just produce, but it can actually think about what it's writing and saying, then it becomes much more valuable.
Yeah. That's been like what the movies are made of, right? Like, it freak people out.
Yeah, but that's also where it becomes much more spooky. Should we go spooky?
Yeah.
And it's not so much about jobs. It's really about just, if it can think, then what is it inclined towards?
So we're going to create our own destructor.
Well, that's been the story of human history.
Right. Because animals were there and then we came and destroyed all those animals. Did you know there was elephant birds, basically? That's pretty wild.
On this planet?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Did not know.
Yeah. I don't know what they're called, but this is like after the Neanderthals.
Was this when the world was flat?
Well, there was animals that were over 100 pounds. You don't see a lot of animals running around that are over 100 pounds today. They're all in the water.
Yeah. Wait, what? My animal at home is over 100 pounds. He's 120 pounds.
Yeah, he's a big boy.
He is a big boy.
Yeah.
He's adorable.
Yeah. I don't feel like that when you come up to the fence.
He's adorable.
He is.
He is. You got to look into his little Muppet face.
Yeah.
It's a big Muppet face.
Yeah.
It's not little.
And then he tries to be your best friend.
Right.
Which a good dog would do.
Except if an intruder comes in the house and he's like, hey, let's play ball.
Yeah, that's not
You
good.
kind of missed the point.
But I think the intruder was going to back off just because of the sheer size of that animal.
Yeah, he is large.
Yeah.
Large.
Yeah. So there was elephant birds flying around. That's crazy. And they're gone now. So we ruined where they were. Right. So we're here. So let's go create all this technology. Next thing you know, it's
elephant birds are back in the metaverse.
Yeah.
Bam.
Bam.
That's where you can find them.
Yeah.
That's where I'm going to find them.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's going to be great too.
It's going to be good.
Yeah.
I'm happy for you.
I'm happy for you too. I'm happy for us.
I might not go there.
I just threw that out there, kind of like ChatGPT.
You got a choice.
I just
put
words together, threw them out there.
Choice. Tomorrow, you're going to the metaverse or are you going to Mars? Where are you going?
Metaverse. Who the fuck wants to go to Mars?
Okay.
Let's be honest.
Some people do.
There?
I don't.
Why?
I don't.
Why would you want to go there?
If I could guarantee you that you were going to come back and you were going to have this wonderful
Number
experience.
one, I'd be like, you're a liar.
Okay. Yeah.
Technologically speaking, we don't have the capacity to do that. Unless you can create the wormhole, you can bend.
You can go to Mars. You have to go through a wormhole to get to Mars?
I'm just saying that's about speed.
Yeah.
Type it in right now. How long would it take you to get to Mars?
Ask who? ChatGPT?
No, just ask Google. Google's smart enough for this
Google
one.
is like, poor Google. Google was the smartest. No, okay, I'm sorry. What if Google went down?
Okay, pause for a second here. OpenAI is owned by, go ahead and go to openai.com.
How long would it take to what?
Get to Mars.
Get to or go to?
Go, whatever.
It doesn't matter. Oh my God. 7 months.
Right. 7 months.
Why?
Can you imagine going to Mars, 7-month trip in economy?
How old would you be when you got back?
That's a great question. I don't know how much changes.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's Einstein's theory of relativity.
Yeah, it's
what's that movie? McConaughey? Interstellar?
Wow. It's a good one.
That freaked out when he came back and his kid was old.
Right.
That was like, I had to turn it off. I was like, that's brutal.
Yeah.
At least trying to save the planet, so good for him. But yeah.
For sure.
He didn't age. He looked good.
He did.
Yeah.
But that's McConaughey.
Yeah.
He always looks good. He's got it together.
Yeah.
He's got to be on peptides or something.
What's a peptide?
Peptides, man. It's really big in the anti-aging community.
Okay.
It's an amino acid that triggers the natural production of various things, hormones and whatnot in your body, instead of putting in synthetics.
You know, it's so crazy when you try to get into ChatGPT, you have to answer a question that says, I'm not a robot. Like, that's wild.
Because it doesn't want to work with other robots. Yeah.
It's like, no, we're better than you.
Go to OpenAI.
I'm logging in now.
No, but go there.
Up.
Because we're talking about poor Google. Who do you think owns OpenAI?
How long would it take to get to Mars? Come on, we're experiencing exceptionally high demand.
Right. Just type in Google search, who owns OpenAI?
It depends on the specific mission architecture.
Oh my God. That's the question.
Distance between Earth and Mars at the time of launch. That's pretty wild.
Yeah.
That's a lot of factors. Google did not.
I have moved on from the Mars discussion.
Because you know what? At the end of the day, the Mars 2020 mission with Perseverance rover took about 7 months to travel.
Perseverance rover?
Yeah.
I am Dr. Perseverance rover.
I mean, geez.
Can you please just type in who owns OpenAI?
Yeah, he's talking right now. Do not disrupt it. You're going to make it angry. It stopped. It paused. It's thinking.
That's when you know you have a problem, is when GPT-3 gets moody.
Yeah.
When it's just you're just like typing this question, it's like, enough.
It's a dumb fucking question.
Yeah. It's like, do you know how many stupid questions I have to answer all day long? It's like, whoa, when did you get so opinionated?
Yeah.
And then it starts to tell you when it got so opinionated because it can calculate that. Yeah.
What is OpenAI just like?
That's what ChatGPT-3 comes out of.
When's ChatGPT-4 coming out? What's your question?
Just fucking type it in.
What do you want me to type?
Who owns OpenAI?
Oh man, we can do that in Google.
That's what I'm saying. I didn't want you to do it in ChatGPT. Okay. Who owns you?
Oh my God. It's paused. Like, this isn't working. Come back later.
Man, you struggle.
Yeah. I saw a picture of those people who started OpenAI.
Oh, good.
Yeah. They were hanging out. OpenAI received a $1 billion investment from Microsoft and Matthew Brown Companies, headquartered in the Pioneer Building Mission District, San Francisco. Here you go. The first question that people ask: does Elon Musk own OpenAI?
No.
So there you go. So, privately held, not publicly traded, comprised of OpenAI employees. Greg Brockman.
Yeah. So Microsoft,
chairman and president,
essentially funded it. But there's another one that Google's funded.
He's the chairman and president. Sam Altman. That's right. We knew that.
Oh, yeah. Totally.
Yeah,
we totally knew that one.
Yeah, no, I did.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So that's good.
It's a beautiful sunny day outside.
Yeah.
This has been a really kind of like a rainy day conversation.
It has been.
I know.
You know what I read? Like in the Midwest right now, like Northeast, been really not sunny.
Right.
It's like Buffalo, 12 straight days of no sun.
Ugh.
0 sun. Michigan, same thing. Like, it's not good.
Sucks, man.
Yeah. It's been sunny here.
It has been. There was something I did. Okay, so this is going to be fun. So there was something that I came across over the holidays, and I saw it because Russell Brand was doing an entire rant about it.
Russell Brand?
Yeah.
Or Brandt?
Brand. B-R-A-N-D-T. I mean.
Is it? What's the D? DT?
Yep.
It's Russell Brand, but is there a Brandt? Is that a different person?
Same dude, the comedian who's become more of an investigative journalist. Yeah.
No T.
I thought there was a T at the end.
No.
Okay.
Sorry.
Oh, I was talking about the other guy.
Yeah.
He looks just like him.
Okay.
But I was talking about the other guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was doing a whole rant on this whole thing called Ecto-Life.
Ecto?
Yeah, Ecto-Life.
Okay.
All right. So when I first saw it, I thought, okay, hold on. Let me look into this a little bit. It was a concept that was put out. He was reviewing it like it was a real thing that was already happening. A lot of people kind of fell for this. So this is really just a projection of the possibilities of human gene modification. And so it was like a whole commercial about a plant that would grow babies in these incubators. And you could design them and develop them. And it would talk about all the nutrients, the ideal nutrients that it's getting so that, it was like an artificial womb that's in this matrix-like environment.
Yeah.
And it was being done in a certain way where it was very World Economic Forum-like, you'll own nothing, you'll rent everything, and you'll be happy. Kind of like these high concepts and justification of things that are really kind of creepy, but dressed up nicely. He was doing a whole rant on it. I thought, I don't think we're quite there. Some other quote like, Elon Musk said we're definitely going to need ecto-life. So you got all these little interesting things that are in there, which does also kind of come back to GPT-3 and go, okay, we're bots. Did Elon Musk actually say that? How did this thing pick up so much steam? But the guy who actually created it was like, no, this isn't real. This is a concept. I think he's an engineer or a biologist. But this is, a lot of the work that I do is really around this, is to say, here's the potential of human gene modification, what it could be over the next 10 to 20 years. And then you develop a concept video that makes it look like it's here today to help people envision a little bit more. But he never really clarified that before it was put out. It was just kind of put out like this company actually exists. And it got a lot of people really going like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. It's not happening.
Yeah.
It could, but it's not. I found that really interesting.
Okay. Well, good. I've been searching over your eyes and listening to what you said.
Listen to a thing I've said.
No, I did.
They're going to grow baby farms.
Yeah.
They're going to make baby farms to grow babies.
God. That's all you had to say.
I know.
Sam Altman was born in 1985.
See, that's the kind of stuff.
That's good.
Okay. ChatGPT-3 starts fucking with you. You're like, hey, who owns blah, 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 blah. And the answer comes back with Sam Altman was born in 1985. It's like, I don't care. Why did you tell me that?
Yeah.
It's, it just starts giving you answers.
That was like, it's like a child. Remember the scene in Jerry Maguire, the kid's in the backseat, he would say something, the kid would say something totally like off topic, like unrelated about bees or whatever.
Hey, but you know what? On topic though.
Yeah, please.
You do completely complete me.
God, you screwed it
up.
God. It's all right. If it's a movie, you can redo the take.
Yeah. You know what though? You complete me.
Mm-hmm. I didn't feel it.
Because it's not real. You don't fucking complete me. Sorry, I'm so lonely. This is for your kids. You said they're into ASMR. I don't know.
Like, is that a YouTube thing?
You complete me?
Ooh, no.
Ooh, that was really loud. My bad.
Yeah. Lego Batman laughed at that scene. Do you remember that?
Which one?
Lego Batman.
You complete me? Yes, I do
just
remember
off
that.
The wall. That's good.
Would it be weird, especially since we're videoing this,
if you had to ask
if I had to hold on to the microphone the whole time?
If you just grabbed it and like carried it like a positions.
Yeah.
This is what they do. And then they sit back. Hold on. Let's sit back.
Let's do this.
Enjoy the ride.
We do have this really loud.
I see NBA basketball players. They'll sit on like couches and they'll have their podcast together. And just tell stories.
Like this. But then you look really obnoxious if it was more like this. You just kind of like, like why?
Yeah.
It takes a lot of extra work.
Why would you hold it like that?
I don't know. Maybe it's just to throw the viewer off. Maybe.
Yeah. To distract them from your beard.
Yeah. And then you get really bored though during the conversation.
You just go back and forth.
Yeah. It's like, well,
thank God you have padding on there.
It's really good.
Can you catch COVID from using someone else's mic?
No.
So remember we were wiping down boxes? That wasn't a thing.
Well, but in the beginning though, we didn't know.
So
then after we did know, we kept doing it.
Yeah. I can't hold this thing.
I can't either. But if we just hold it like this.
Yeah.
Like, it's like Eddie Vedder.
Ooh, yeah. Steven Tyler.
No.
What?
Gross. Steven Tyler would dance. He had one hand in the pole. Like this.
He took the thing off.
Yeah.
Like Freddie Mercury did some crazy shit too. Remember he ripped it? Do you ever see that movie? That's a good movie.
Which one?
Bohemian Rhapsody.
No.
It's a good movie.
I like to watch the
You should watch it. It's very creative. Because they're like, well, no one's ever going to listen to Bohemian the song because it's too long. It doesn't follow the formula.
Little did they know.
Yeah, they're wrong.
Everybody's going to listen to it.
Yeah, it's a good song.
It's a great song. What do you got in store for 2023? Yeah, let's move on. So bored.
Man. We can kill this one and come back for another one.
This is so good.
Because this is dark. A little comedy in the end.
We should end this one now and just record the next one right after it.
You want to do that?
I love you. You complete me. Let's shut it down.